We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close.
Of wanting to
making history.
This close to changing the world.
We're this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again.
This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio.
All we need is you.
this close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
In 1964, my father, a Springfield Rotarian, proposed me for membership in the club. It went through the usual screening and background checks, etc. And then my father was informed that I had been refused membership. The reason being, they felt I was too young at age 27. The following year, my father proposed me for membership again, and this time they accepted me. The median age of the Rotarians at that time was approximately 55 years.
As you know, Rotary many years ago had a lot more members in it, and a meeting might have 100, 125 people. Well, before the regular meeting, there was a small group of members that religiously had an unofficial meeting at the bar at Valley Steakhouse. I don't know how much business was done, but this happened every meeting. More seriously, there were two Rotary members in Springfield that were given the honor periodically of speaking to the club. And their speeches were well given. They had a lot of substance to it, a lot of history. And most members used to make extra special effort to come to the meeting to listen to them. One was Dick Garvey, who was I believe, editor of the Springfield Republican newspapers. The other was Rabbi Herman Snyder, who I understand, I know, had met Paul Harris, who started Rotary, and had a personal relationship with him.
And I always enjoyed having Dick Garvey get up and tell his stories, the history of Springfield. And also, of course, Sid Cook, who was the publisher of the newspaper, every Friday used to get up, before we had all the computers and all the day-to-day equipment. He would give us the latest news at noon, and he would always end with, and today the weather's going to be beautiful. That was the characters that belonged when I first joined.
My wife had polio as a child. I had an uncle and an aunt who had polio. The aunt died from complications in polio. And when Rotary started Polio Plus, I got very involved in that. And there were 11 Paul Harrises in my family.
And a Paul Harris requires what?
You have to contribute $1,000 towards Polio Plus.
So for you, this has really been a personal labor of love.
It really has. It really has.
In the United States, Rotary was forced to take women, and I was invited by Dick Garvey of the newspaper and Al Riviere, who at that time was the president of the club, and served as president of Mercy Hospital, and that was my designation. No one else in hospital administration had been a Rotarian at that point, so I had a double first. And the other person that was invited to join with me was Ann Geer, and she was a Protestant minister, and she was in charge of the council of council of churches in the area. And so I think Rotary felt that we were pretty well, we're not going to do too many. We were pretty safe. Not going to do too much harm to Rotary by bringing two women in. But Rotary certainly has grown from that time. It wasn't long before other women joined, and it's can be said that women have done a good job in this, certainly in this Rotary Club, and have risen through the ranks and have become president and done a really remarkable job. And I also remember that shortly after I joined Rotary is when Rotary International decided that the real goal for Rotary would be to eradicate polio.
Well, to be honest with you, I was surprised to hear that, because when I joined the club 9 years ago, I'd become a partner in Fitzgerald and Mastriani Advertising and felt it was important to meet other business owners in the community. And when I joined Rotary, it was a wonderfully mixed group of men and women, young and old. And I really think that women have added to the conversation. We have different life experiences. We're mothers, we're wives, we're homemakers, but we're also business owners. And we bring a different dimension to the club. And I think it's helped to attract some younger members as well. And it makes for a very enjoyable experience. I really enjoy the meetings. I love listening to the stories from the older members, and I love seeing the new people and helping them introduce them to different vehicles, avenues in Springfield, and how to mentor them and how to network. And it's very enjoyable. I'm surprised that I enjoy it as much as I do, but it's a great group of people, and the women really, I think, add a lot to it, just like they do to any organization.
One of the important things that my dad taught me is the biggest gift that you can give someone is the gift of yourself. It's something that no one else can duplicate.
Also, from my year as president, it really hit home. That year when I was president was unfortunately for Haiti, the year they had the disastrous earthquake. And we were able to help out substantially by donating 2 shelter boxes. They're basically a production of International Rotary. And it's basically everything in a very large box that a family of 6 to 8 people would need to survive for months on end. So it had a fuel source, obviously a tent, sleeping bags, all kinds of medical supplies. And we in Springfield sent 2 of those tents down there, and I was very proud of that.
Today, the Rotary Foundation has invested over $5 billion worldwide in the goal of world peace and understanding. And it's done that, for example, as you heard Al say, Polio Plus. Well over $1 billion has been invested in eliminating polio in the world. And as a result of that, there are only 3 countries that have acknowledged they have polio today. Today, the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has jumped on the bandwagon with Polio Plus. And any contributions that we as Rotarians make to the foundation, they double it. So Polio Plus, through the foundation, was a huge endeavor. Great deal of help from organizations like the World Health Organization. WHO has helped the entire Rotary worldwide to offer the polio serum to children around the world.
Rotary, like many organizations, is undergoing a great deal of change. It has to. If it's existed for more than 100 years, it is not the same organization today as it was when it started. But the constant is the motto of service above self, the high ethical standard of Rotary members, I think is what attracted a lot of people of goodwill to be members of Rotary clubs.
Our club is a service organization, and the 10 grants will benefit the community. And one thing we do, which is I think very cool about our club, very interesting, you can work with smaller charities that have 1 or 2 people running those charities, but make a significant impact in the city of Springfield.
And with the 100th anniversary celebration, you reflect on the 100 years, but instead of reflecting, we're demonstrating how we're committed to the Springfield community.